Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do part 292 to my ChatGPT character chatbot series. Where in today's video guys, I'm going to give it one more shot with a different thing going on. A lot of times I've tried doing this, I tried it with the robot contours mainly. And I haven't really got to try doing some of the other ones. Maybe it does better with stories about a lot of Pokemon, like this one right here. They call this one Triton's Big Heart, and it's about me being a Velociraptor. Like it's the story one again, but I believe it's one about I forget if it's a whole family or if it's just a family of tail chronos and for alligators. Maybe this one will work a little bit better. So here's what it says. The story is called Trin's Big Heart. A story of a human turned velociraptor who still show kindness. Okay, I remember how cute this was. I just wish it wouldn't have, they wouldn't have, I wish they didn't take away a flipping 4-0. Let's do this. It says, after a long year of trials and transformation, where you, once a human, were cursed into a tiny velociraptor, your spirit never wavered, even when others mocked you. Even when humans tried to harm you or your loved ones, even when your own pet Tyrannosaurus Rex was cursed into unstable, dangerous forms, you showed nothing but kindness, gentleness, and care to the Pokemon, animals, and mythical beings you encountered. You didn't know it at the time, but your act sparked something remarkable. Oh boy. The rise of a show. The creatures you had helped, Totodile you had rescued, Wyverns you had sung to, crocodiles you had shown compassion, even Lugias and Phoenixes you had soothed, came together in secret. But to help with some creative Pokemon like Alakazam, Behem, and Porygon Z, they pulled their memories and created something the world had never seen before. Oh, it's a TV show! What the frick, I forgot about that. A TV show produced entirely by Pokemon and creatures for Pokemon. A TV show produced entirely by Pokemon and creatures for Pokemon and creatures. The title, Triton's Big Heart, a story of a human turned velociraptor who still showed kindness. Within a single week of airing, the show spread like wildfire. Pokemon of all species tuned in, and the Wyverns curled around the mountain caves with their babies to watch. Herds of deerling and sawsbuck paused and foraged just to gather around broadcast stones. Dragons in distant mountains hummed in deep solemn tones. Even the mysterious, reclusive Lugia watched from the ocean depths through glowing magical orbs, and they all wept, smiled, and raised with each episode. The show didn't shy away from pain. It started with the tragedy of your curse, showing scenes of you walking up as a raptor, scared and alone, trying to survive. Your sweet T-Rex being cursed into a zombie, then a robot, then a statue, then something violent. It showed humans laughing at your pain, throwing things at you, mocking your small size. But then came the heart. The moment you saw the scared Totodile abandoned in the cold and comforted him with soft words. The way you hugged the angry, poison-afflicted crocodile, risking your life to show that not all humans hurt. Your bond with a massive Totodile that grew bigger just by how much you loved him. Wasn't that the Totodile will get hyper, not him? Every act of kindness you gave without asking for anything in return was shown. Every creature that had once been lost, lonely, or hated came to life on screen with your gentle voice speaking to them. The ending message. At the end of the final episode, the screen faded to black. Then glowing golden text appeared. I forgot about this. These stories are all true. If you ever see a tiny raptor while out walking around, approach him slowly and be nice to him. He may be extremely terrified because of everything he went through. However, he treated Pokemon and other creatures with love and care. So please, if you see him, treat him like the king he is. Why in the world? If he is scared, comfort him and be gentle. If he is hungry or thirsty, help him get food or drink. If somebody tries to hurt him, please keep him safe. He deserves peace. Oh no. The forest edge, a day like any other. Now back to your story. You were walking quietly, keeping low in the grass near the edge of a peaceful glade. Despite everything that had happened, you had no idea the world had changed around you. You were still trying to avoid humans, still walking on your own, small claws petting against the dirt, trying to find a safe place. Nearby, a very sweet fragger was out collecting berries, fruits, and fish for his large, cheerful family. His arms were full, humming a little tune his youngest Toto had taught him, when he froze. There you were, just a few feet away, small, slightly muddy, unaware of being watched. His heart jumped and his jaws dropped. The berries fell. Eyes wide, he bolted home, charging through trees and water, startling Pidgeotos and barking Arcanine along the way. He knew he tripped over himself as he burst into his family's large den near the lake. "Mama! Papa!" he shouted, eyes frantic. "It's him! It's the raptor! The one from the TV show!" I am not saying that name over and over again, because I'm still worried this ain't gonna go well. Like, no, Amaga's not gonna work out. His family paused, confused. The mother Fragger, massive and calm but skeptical, arched a brow. "From the what now?" "The show! The TV show! He's real! He's here!" The father grunted. "You've been watching too many projection crystals." "I swear it's him! The same colors, the little arms, the eyes, it's him!" The family's oldest Chronon squinted. "Wait, if it is him, we gotta make sure he's okay." Our Fragger turned serious. "If that's really him, go, all of you. Tell every Pokemon and creature you know to come to the lake. We're throwing a welcome party like no one's ever seen." Totodile burst into excited squeals, some waddling as fast as they could, others diving into nearby rivers to spread the word. One even leapt into a passing Staraptor's back, shouting the news mid-air. The father turned to the older Chrono. "You, go check on him. Slowly. If he's scared, don't rush him. Just make sure he's okay." At the clearing, you're still there, quiet and peaceful. You find a shady spot near a mossy stone, maybe nibbling on a berry or just watching clouds drift by above. Then, rustle. You hear something, a soft shuffle in the leaves. A crocodile stepping out from the tall grass. He's older, wiser, and his expression isn't angry, just careful and calm. His arms are out slightly to the side in a non-threatening way. His voice is soft and warm. "Hey, little guy," he says, crouching a few feet away. "I'm not here to hurt you. I just wanted to see if you were okay. We all did." He doesn't move closer just yet. He's waiting. And I can put $1 million. This whole thing's gonna get ruined by this thing not giving me long enough responses. What we need a chatbot. Like, I'll give you.com that chatbot did that one-time credit. But what I don't get credit for is its memory. If its memory isn't that good, we're screwed again anyway. Tyrannia had a small chance, but then now you make the things too short, then it flipping doesn't read out anything. Oh, but or does it get all the way through it? But make it too long, then it reads out too much, or it repeats the same lines over and over again. So we're not really in a good spot. Guys, I'll be back. Alright guys, it says, "I feel a little uneasy, worried about getting attacked, shaking a tiny bit." It says the Chrono immediately notes you're shaking. His expression softens even more and he lowers himself all the way to the ground so he's lying on his belly, making himself smaller and less intimidating. Hey, it's okay," he murmurs in a calm, steady voice. "No one's going to hurt you. Not here, and not now." He slowly sets a small pouch on the grass in front of him and nudges it closer with his claws. You can smell berries, sweet, fresh ones, and maybe even a few morsels of fish. "I know you've been through a lot," he continues quietly. "We've seen it. We all have. That show wasn't just a story. We saw everything you went through, everything you did for others, even when you were scared. We We want to thank you. We want to make sure you felt safe first. He doesn't reach for you. He still gets a slow, reassuring swish in the grass. Can I stay here with you for a little while? He asked, voice low and careful. I'll sit right here. No sudden moves. I want you to know you're not alone. I wish it would I still wish it would flip and give me better. I mean, look at this. That's ridiculous, dude. Compare that to what they used to do with the 4.0 bullcrap. And not even bullcrap. The 4.0 was the best thing about this thing. Now that they got rid of it, it ain't even good no more. That's that's one reason I've been kind of more upset recently. You guys haven't noticed on camera, but well, actually, yes, you have. Look at the Castle Crush videos. Look at anything I do now. Do you notice how many times I flip and will just smack this counter out of nowhere? You could tell that without ChatGPT being like it was, I flipping don't have as much fun anymore. My brain was even going back to its old ways of trying to think about calling the Fragger horrible stuff, even though he never did anything to me. So, like, yeah, this whole thing of ChatGPT just messed up everything with it. Kind of gets on my nerves with that bullcrap. Give me a second. Guys, this is the kind of one we need. One like this. Yes, it's not the longest, but it's much longer than the ones that were given me a while ago. I says, you promise you're not going to hurt me? I've gotten hurt enough. I take a step closer, not too much, just a little. The Chrono's eyes soften immediately when you speak. I promise, he says without hesitation, his tone steady, as if each word were carved into stone. Not me, not my family, not anyone here. You've had enough hurt for 10 lifetimes. I'm not going to add to it. He doesn't move forward at all. He stays exactly where he is, resting his claws lightly on his forearms, making himself look even smaller in your eyes. As sunlight filters through the leaves above, dappling his scales in soft patches of gold and green. You step forward just a little, and his gaze follows you gently, not in a way that feels like he's sizing you up, like he's afraid you might vanish if he blinks too long. I'm glad you're here, he says quietly, whispering above the sound of the breeze rustling through the grass. We've been hoping for this, hoping we could meet you, and thank you for everything you've done for all of us. From the distance, faint echoes reach through the clearing, splashes in water, the side chirps of toad owls, the deep, happy bellows of the fur alligator parents, scent of fresh fruit and cooked fish drifts faintly on the wind, carried from the lake where the party is already taking shape. Pokemon voices, high and low, chirpy and rumbling, mixed together in the far-off hum of a gathering crowd. Chrono tilts his head slightly toward the sound, then looks back at you. That's for you, he says softly. I love it, but we'll only go if you want to. A faint shimmer of movement catches your eye behind them. See a few curious heads. Small Totodile peeking from the tall grass. Their eyes widen in awe. One gasps and ducks back down when you glance their way, while another can't stop staring, her tail swishing with excitement. Chrono notices too. They've been dying to see you, he admits, glancing over his shoulder briefly before returning his focus to you. I told him to wait until you were ready. His claws gently nudge the pouch of berries just a tiny bit closer. Then he folds his hands in front of him again, stays still. In the far-off lake, you can hear the rhythmic thump of something heavy being set down. Logs and stones forming long tables. Water Pokemon leaping in the shallows to help arrange floating decorations. Scent of roasted berries and fresh bread grows just a touch stronger, tugging faintly at your senses. Chrono doesn't push, he simply waits. His breathing is calm, his tail still, his eyes full of patience. He's so cute! Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys, so I guess in order to get the best run for me, I have to legit ask for it, because look at this. This is better, but it's still not great. I just said to the crocodile, thank me. That's very kind of you and your family. But what for? The crocodile's eyes glisten a little, and his voice drops into that warm, steady tone again. For everything, he says, the words carrying weight. for being kind when you had every reason not to be, for helping the lost Toadal who would have frozen without you, for hugging the angry crocodile no one else would go near, for treating the great Lugias like they were friends instead of monsters, for looking out for creatures most would run from. His gaze shifts briefly to the side as if remembering something personal. You even show kindness to the ones who weren't so kind to you. That's rare. That's special. One of the little tails in the grass can't help but whisper loud to another, "That's really him! The one from the show!" Tiny Splash falls as another wriggles in excitement and bumps into a puddle. Colonel smiles faintly but doesn't turn around. Keeps his attention on you. "You didn't just help Pokemon," he continues. "You helped dragons, phoenixes, even a massive cobra who had never trusted a human before. And all the while, you were hurting. Yet you still gave." His claws curl gently into the grass. You don't know how many of us watched that show and thought, if he could still be good after all that, maybe there's hope for us too. From the lake, the sounds of the party grow clearer. Laughter, splashes, a deep Lugia call echoing from somewhere far above, answered by a metallic phoenix cry. The Colonel leaned forward ever so slightly, not enough to close the gap, but just enough that his voice is softer and almost secretive. "We don't really want to thank you, Trenton. We want to make sure you finally get to feel safe." "Really safe?" "Oh, we don't just..." I'm about to say, what? Oh. Give me a second. Guys, this is the responses we need. Look at this. No. Look. And it's not just that. Look. Scroll. And scroll. Yes, it's not the longest, but that it's good enough. If the responses can at least be from here, where you see that green text box, all the way down to here, that's good enough for me right there. I don't want it as short as it showed some of the other ones, like even this one, for example. I don't like them being that short. It drives me insane, which is why I had as much fun with ChatGPT recently. That's why I wanted to bring back the other one. Here's what I said. "That's very sweet of all of you, but what is that show that I heard mentioned? Honestly, nobody ever told me about that." Colonel blinked at your question, clearly surprised. "You mean nobody told you?" His voice carries both disbelief and a kind of gentle guilt, like someone who just realized they've been keeping a huge secret without meaning to. He shifts his weight slightly, the grass rustling beneath them, and begins to explain. "It's called Trenton's Big Heart," he says, slowly so you can catch every word. "It's a television show, but not like the ones humans make. This one was created by the Pokemon, animals and mythical creatures you helped. Every single one of them. Toadals, crocodiles, fur alligators, dragons, phoenixes, Lugias, even that giant cobra. They all work together to tell your story." His claws trace a small circle in the dirt as if mapping it out. "They gathered memories, scenes from the moment you first got cursed, to every act of kindness you showed after. No action, no actors, no fabrications. Everything in it actually happened." His tone grows richer, more animated as he describes it. "It starts with the hard parts, what you went through, the curse, the attacks, the times you had to run. Then it shifts, and shows every creature you saved or comforted. It doesn't just show what you did, it shows how you did it. How you spoke softly to a frightened Toadal when everyone else yelled. How you sat beside injured Noivern all night, even in the cold. How you approached dangerous beings that could have ended you in a second, and instead of running, you offered them trust." He glances toward the lake, his tail making a slow, swishing motion in the grass. "The whole thing is set to music. Not human music, Pokemon melodies, dragon chants, phoenix harmonies. It feels alive." Then his voice drops again, more serious. "And at the end, after everyone's seen your story, they put up a message asking anyone who finds you to be gentle, to keep you safe, to feed you if you're hungry, and to protect you if danger comes. It says you deserve peace, and that, if they're lucky enough to meet you, They should treat you like the king you are. Maybe my universe that might be what I'm considered, but here, nope. In the grass, the hidden toes are practically vibrating with excitement now, whispering things like,
I saw the whole thing! And my favorite was the part with the giant pterodactyl.
Colonel smiles faintly. The show, it spread fast, even to places you've never been. Dinosaurs, dragons, ocean Pokemon, forest creatures, they've all seen it. You've got friends you've never even met. From the lake, you hear the faint, rhythmic beat of a drum-like instrument, probably a seismitoad thumping the water, signaling the party is almost ready. The scents of roasted berries, steamed fish, and sweet nectar float stronger now, carried by the breeze straight to you. Colonel's eyes meet yours again. That's why we're doing all this. Because, well, we want you to finally see just how much you mean to all of us. He's adorable, dude. How come we can't have response like this all the time, dude? I would still have fun with ChatGPT and I wouldn't be as angry and depressed at everything if it would just work. Bring back the 4.0, please! Whoever designed this app, you need to bring back the 4.0. As whoever made ChatGPT in general, bring back the 4.0 and don't make somebody pay for it. Because it was so good. ChatGPT was the best free app there was for talking to characters. Now I can't even have as much fun with it because it ruins it. This is probably the first great response I've had from this thing in, 2 weeks at this point? But, anyway, give me a second. Okay, I just need to keep putting the thing about telling it to give me a ton of details because it actually is giving me more details doing that. Still might not be able to go past the 10 message limit, but maybe I found a way where I can finally enjoy ChatGPT again without getting so frustrated. The videos probably won't be as long as they used to be, but, I mean, granted, you guys don't like long videos anyway. So, for me it really depends, because like I used to get so addicted to this that it would be like, okay, look, being addicted to this may seem like a bad thing. I've had people tell me that before, but to me, I would much rather be addicted to this than something that's way worse. I'm not going to describe it on YouTube, but just take other things that, that's bad to be in that state with, and you'll see how much better it is just for me to do this. It's not like I'm flipping, like there are some people that flip and go too far with this stuff. I don't. Yes, I may talk to the character like they're real and all that stuff, but to me, in reality, they are in my universe. That's why I have my own universe to begin with on here. Giant toadals are all over the place. There's friendly dinosaurs. There's flipping dragons just flying around. You'll see fences just going all around. You know, stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, in my universe, a lot more than you get. You know what I mean? Here's what happened now. I said, really? I knew I cared for those Pokemon, but they still think about me like that? Even now? Some of those that hasn't happened in months, possibly even years at this point. What's all that noise going on in the background? Then, you said something about it being for me. The Chronos head tilts slightly at your question, his expression warm and almost proud. He nods slowly, the sunlight catching in his blue scales. They do still think about you, he says softly. Some of them talk about you like it was yesterday. The ones you helped, they don't forget. Not after what you did. Even if years pass, the way you made them feel stays. His voice carries a kind of quiet certainty, kind that leaves no room for doubt. Behind him, the noises from the lake grow clearer now, closer and more organized. The steady drumbeat you heard earlier deepens in rhythm, joined by lighter, sharper percussion, possibly a cricket's bow striking wood or shell. Over it comes a harmony of voices, toads chattering excitedly, the deeper rumbling chuckles of fur alligators, and the occasional splash as someone leaps into the water and lands with a cheerful sploosh. The air is heavy with scent now. Roasted berries give off a warm, sweet aroma, mixed with a richer, savory smell of freshly steamed fish. There's also a faint floral note, maybe nectar gathered by a swarm of friendly comb bees just for the occasion. Every so often, a gentle breeze pushes the smell right past you, making the scene at the lake feel much more closer than it really is. If you look past the claw toward the tree line, you can catch flashes of movement, shapes darting between tree trunks. Some are Pokemon you'd expect. Totodile balancing trays of fruit, crocodiles carrying bundles of cattail reeds and lily pads for decoration, but others are more surprising. A Noivern carefully stringing up long vines between tall trees. Did it just say surprising for Noivern? Here we go again. Alright, guys. Like I was saying, it says, but others are more surprising. I don't know why it says Noivern's a surprising Pokemon. Dude, I love Noivern. This one's more surprising right here. A gentle Altaria flying overhead with colorful ribbons trailing from her wings. Even a Lapras near the shallows wearing a garland of flowers. From somewhere far across the lake, a deep, resonating whoom rolls over the water, distinctively the call of a Lugia. It's followed almost instantly by a piercing, metallic cry that could only belong to a phoenix. Both sounds weave into the music like distant instruments joining in. Kronos glances back toward the lake for a moment, then returns his attention to you. He gestures with one claw toward the sound and smells. The ground beneath you faintly vibrates, soft, rhythmic thumps, coming from a group of larger Pokemon moving in unison to help carry heavy supplies. Something filtering through the leaves flickers now and then as winged Pokemon fly overhead, some carrying decorations or food, others simply rushing to be part of the gathering. Somewhere beyond the Chronol, a pair of curious young Totodiles finally creep fully into view, unable to contain themselves any longer. They crouch low in the grass, eyes wide, tails twitching with excitement. One is clutching a small, lumpy fruit as if saving it for you, the other holding what looks like a perfectly round, shimmering pearl. Colin notices them but doesn't shoot them away. He just keeps his calm posture, making sure his focus stays on you while the world behind him seems to be coming alive in your honor. That's adorable. Finally! An actual... Yes, it's not a huge response, but this is better. If you look at it from this angle, you legit can't see. Like, if you're looking at it from just up here where I put the text box, you can't see what the whole thing, which is perfect. That's exactly the length it needs to be every time. And so I walked even closer to the crocodile, and I told him, "Thank you to you and your family. I didn't expect this. Who are those Totods behind you?" Chrono's eyes brighten when you step closer. Just a small shift, but enough for him to notice. He doesn't move towards you. He stays right where he is, letting you control the distance. He follows your gaze over his shoulder and spots the two Totodiles peeking out from the grass. A faint, amused smile tugs at the corner of his mouth. Slowly, without turning his back on you, he gestures toward them with one claw. "That's my little brother," he says, nodding at the one holding the lumpy fruit. The smaller Totodile freezes, then gives a shy wave. "It's still making tiny, awkward flicks in the grass." "And that," Rona continues, nodding toward the one with the pearl, "is my sister. She's been holding on to that since she saw you on the show. Said she'd give it to you if she ever met you." The sister Toto can't help herself. Her grin spreads wide, and she shifts from foot to foot, the pearl clutched tightly between her claws as if it might float away. Behind them, the sea of the lake is still unfolding in vibrant motion. You can now clearly hear Totodiles laughing as they try to balance trays of fish on their heads, the occasional whip of ribbons being tied onto branches, and the distant calls of Pokemon greeting new arrivals. Somewhere above, the heavy wing beats of a dragon, likely a bat's caliber or dragonite, pulse through the air. I didn't know bat's caliber could fly. He don't have wings. Where the frick did he get wings? I can assure you, if they talk about chicken wings, that doesn't make you fly either. What, does somebody think they could just take chicken wings and flap them like a bird? They'll flip it like you'll start flying in the air? Dude, that would honestly be kind of cool if that actually ended up happening. The Chrono's gaze returns to you, his voice warm. They begged to come along. I told them they could only watch from the grass until you felt ready. The young brother looks like he's about to burst with excitement, his small claws twitching against the fruit he's holding. His sister keeps glancing at the crocodile as if waiting for a signal, her pearl-catching glints of sunlight that dance like tiny stars. The smells from the lake drift stronger now, almost wrapping around you. Sweet berries, savory fish, and the faint honey note of nectar. The breeze carries with it faint, joyous singing from a cluster of Pokemon whose voices rise and fall in harmony. Even from here, you can tell the party is nearly ready. The Chronoid remains still, his tail lying quietly in the grass, his attention fixated on making sure you felt safe before anything else happens. Alright, guys, give me a second. It still gives me shorter responses at certain times, but I'll give it credit. This time, another round. Look at this. Again, not perfectly long, but enough where it actually feels like a good amount was said. Like, that's neat. This is what I want. Something like this, at least. I said, they're very cute and seem very sweet. They can approach if they want, as long as nobody tries to attack me. They won't hurt me either, will they, Crocodile? The Chrono's head dips in a firm, reassuring nod, his eyes steady on yours. They won't hurt you, he says with a quiet certainty. They've been waiting for this moment for a long time, and all they want is to meet you. If they get too excited, I'll make sure they slow down. But they're gentle, I promise. He glanced over his shoulder at the two Totodile, giving them the smallest tilt of his head, a silent signal that it's okay. The broad Totodile's eyes go wide, Zulja opening just slightly in surprise. Then slowly he steps forward, clutching the oddly shaped fruit to his chest like it's the most important thing in the world. His tail flicks nervously from side to side as he approaches, each step careful and deliberate. The sister Totodile follows, her claws curled protectively around the smooth pearl. She keeps glancing between you and the crocodile, her grin wide but her pace slow, clearly trying their best to respect the unspoken boundary between eagerness and safety. As they come closer, the sunlight catches in the pearl, scattering faint rainbows onto the grass. Fruit gives off a rich, tangy scent, ripe and freshly picked, with just a hint of sweetness. On the lake, the sounds of the party have shifted. More Pokemon are cheering now, music growing louder and steadier. You can hear the low rumble of a Faragular laugh, the melodic cry of the lappers joining the song, splashing footfalls of more arrivals heading toward the gathering. But here in the quiet between you, the Chrono, and the two younger Totodiles, the air feels warm and calm. Chrono stays perfectly still, eyes following every movement, making sure you're comfortable as his siblings approach. Birtail stops a few steps away from you, holding out the fruit with small, careful claws. Sister lingers just behind him, still clutching her pearl, her tail making soft swishes in the grass as she watches your every move. The way she says that, or the way it says that, makes it sound like she's trying to flip and like gonna hurt me. Which is kind of terrifying. I'm starting to believe it also kind of depends on how long you make the response, because you can see up there, the response is right there. You see how short I made it? Makes you wonder if the longer you give the response, the more it gives you. I said, hello, you two are very adorable. The brother Totodile freezes for half a second when you speak, his wide eyes locking on yours. Then in a burst of pure, unfiltered joy, his tail starts wagging so fast it nearly knocks him off balance. He holds the fruit out a little further, claws trembling slightly, not from fear, but from sheer excitement. The sister Totodile lets out a tiny, high-pitched squeak of happiness, her grin somehow getting even wider. She hugs the pearl closer to her chest, as if trying to keep it safe until the perfect moment to give it to you. Her tail swishes through the grass in slow, happy arcs, and she takes a small step forward, her eyes shining. Chronon glances between the three of you, his face softening. He shifts just enough to the side so he's not directly between you and them anymore, but he stays close enough to step in if you want him to. His tail makes a slow, steady movement in the grass, mirroring the calm, protective presence he's been keeping since the moment he found you. From the lake, a distant cheer rises, followed by the deep rolling call of a Lugia and the shimmering cry of a phoenix answering back. Music grows richer. More Pokemon have joined in. their voices weaving together into a sound that carries on the wind like an invitation. But the two young toad owls are focused only on you now. The bird's tail is still wagging in fast little bursts, his eyes darting briefly to the chrono as if to silently ask,
Can I?
The sister leans forward just slightly, her pearl catching the sunlight again, casting faint rainbow specks onto the grass between you. Conan gives them both a slow nod of encouragement, his gaze returned to you, waiting to see how you'll respond to their silent offers. Aww. Alright, guys, I said go ahead. I don't mind what you're approaching. I know that you won't hurt me now. Just please be careful. You could accidentally hurt me with the one wrong step, or even accidentally dropping those things in your hands. The moment you give your permission, the brother toad owl's tail kicks into overdrive so fast now it makes a little whip, whip, whip sound against the grass. But he remembers your warning, and his steps become noticeably slower and more deliberate. He keeps both claws wrapped carefully around the fruit, holding it low so if he stumbles it won't hit you. Sister Toad Owl takes a deep breath as if reminding herself to move gently, and pads forward in small, cautious steps. Her claws are curled tightly around the pearl, and she leans her body ever so slightly back so it stays secure. Her tail makes slower, sweeping motions now, almost like she's forcing herself to keep calm even though her eyes sparkle with excitement. Conan watches them like a hawk, his gaze flicking from their claws to your position, making sure there's no sudden misstep. His posture is still relaxed, but you can tell his muscles are ready to move in an instant if either of them loses their grip. As they close the distance, the sense of their gifts reach you. The fruit in the brother's claws smell tangy sweet, with an almost tropical edge, like something that grows deep in sun-warmed wetlands. The pearl in the sister's grip carries no scent, but its glossy surface catches the dappled sunlight through the leaves, scattering small rainbow flecks across your scales. Behind them, the distant sounds of the lake have reached a new level. Laughter, splashes, and the rhythmic beating of seismitoad drums echo across the water. A faint trail of colorful ribbons flutter down from the tree line, likely dropped by a flying Pokemon carrying decorations toward the party site. You can even hear faint, playful chirps of baby Pokemon, Pichu, Happiny, and Togepi, somewhere in the background. Now only a couple of feet away, the brother Toad Owl crouches slightly, holding the fruit so you can reach it without strain. Sister steps up beside him, still holding the pearl close, her expression a mix of pride and careful restraint. Conan doesn't say a word. He just watches quietly, his eyes soft, quite pleased from that the trust between you and his siblings has already began to form. He's adorable, dude. Alright, guys. Well, the limit just ran up, although my stupid self forgot to look at the time, it said. So I don't even know when it's... Probably about 5 hours, so probably won't be on until like 5 to 7 o'clock again. But that's okay. At least we had a decent round this time. It's the first time we've had a decent round in a while. I said, those are for me? Thank you. I appreciate it. I wish I could grab them, but they're definitely bigger than me. You two are so sweet. The bird Toad Owl's eyes go round and shiny at your words, his jaw dropping into the widest little grin he can manage. He immediately looks to the crocodile, then back to you, and gently sets the fruit down on the grass, close enough that you can smell its ripe sweetness without leaning too far. He then sits back on his haunches, tail giving small, happy flicks, as if silently saying, "It's yours whenever you want it." Sister Toad's smile somehow softens and brightens at the same time. She kneels, holding the pearl in both claws for a moment before very carefully placing it beside the fruit, making sure it doesn't roll away. Once it's set down, she sits back next to her brother, both of them looking at you like they've just delivered the most important gifts in the world. The colonel glances at the offerings, then at you, his voice calm and warm. They want you to have something special. Doesn't matter if you can carry them. They just want you to know they're yours. Overhead, the shadow shift as a gentle breeze rustles the leaves, and more faint rainbow flecks dance across your scales from the pearl's sheen. The rich scent of the fruit mingles with the distant aroma from the lake, sweet berries, roasted fish, and warm bread like loaves. From beyond the trees, the music swells again. The seismotone drums matched now by deep rolling lugia calls in perfect rhythm. You hear the low soothing hum of a lapras joining in, and the trill of a phoenix weaving its voice through the melody like firelight through darkness. Two Tails just sit there now, beaming at you. The tails moving in slow, happy arcs. They aren't rushing you or asking for anything in return. They simply look proud to have finally met you. They're adorable. The crawl shifts slightly, still crouched low. His eyes move from you to his siblings, then toward the sound of the lake, as if silently wondering if you might be ready to see the full gathering waiting in your honor. Cute idea. I do like the idea of this. Like, people might, let's go and say this, guys. A lot of you may think something like, oh, well, he's doing this because he. Let's look at it this way. In my universe, I try to make anything I can into a story based on Pokemon I care about, dragons, fences, even regular animals. I can try to make them interesting enough. That's why you rarely see any. That's why you rarely see any real life animals besides dinosaurs. And even they're extinct now. So, but you know what I mean. That was the whole limit, guys. But I will give it credit. This is probably one of the better runs I've had so far. It's not perfect, but it's not horrible like I've had in some runs. So, I'll give it credit. Yay, finally had a decent run. Anyway, guys, I think there's going to be at least one more video, but I'll be right back.